I'm Calvin Gaisford.
I'm Scott Reeves.
We're working on Giver, which you probably heard a lot because it's like going to win all the contests. It's the greatest project. We've got 30 seconds, but I can show it in 30 seconds. So come over here. Giver is basically the easiest file sharing you've ever seen. It'll come up and it discovers all the people you can share with on the local network, and you see they're just here. We go out and grab the avatar from your favorite avatar service. And in order to send a file, we've got Scott here on this machine and I'm on this one. If I want to send a file to Scott, I can simply grab the file, drag it over to Scott, and let go. And Scott gets notified down here that I'm trying to send him a file.
So I have a choice to either accept or decline. Since it's Calvin and I have his picture to verify, I'll say sure, I'll take it from Calvin.
And that's it. The file gets sent and it shows up on his desktop. Now that was kind of quick because it was a small file. So let's do something a little more complicated. Here on the desktop we've got a whole bunch of files. I've got some RPMs. I've got a folder that's got a bunch of stuff in it. Rather than trying to explain to a customer that I need you to send all this stuff and you've got to zip it up, or your buddy or whoever it is, or your mom more likely, you're going to email me all this stuff. They don't know how to do that. You can just come to your desktop and select all the stuff you want, drag it over here to Scott and let go. Scott gets a message that there's 29 files and the size it's going to come.
So I say sure, I'll take that again.
And if you come over here, you'll see the progress that we're sending these files over to Scott. Didn't have to zip it up, didn't have to worry about how to attach it. I simply drag the files over to him and let go.
You see them appearing on my desktop there as they roll in.
Very simple. Okay, so that's great if you're a heavy file user and you live in the file system, but most people don't. In fact, one of the places that a lot of people like to use, an app that's very popular, is Tomboy. You just saw perhaps a demo of that. And with the help of the Tomboy guys, I can bring up Tomboy and say, you know what, I want to share this little note. We just had a meeting, or I took some notes when we were talking on the phone. I can actually grab that Tomboy note and drag it over here to Scott. Scott will get prompted. You notice the little Tomboy icon. He gets prompted down there, and if he accepts that, it actually pops up Tomboy and imports that note into his Tomboy.
Bravo!
Okay, go Tomboy! So let's go a little further than that. We can also pull out some things like in F-Spot. We went and did some things. I can just select some pictures, drag those over to Scott. Scott gets notified. He accepts that. And I start sending those files over to him, and he gets those files. We'll work on the importing into F-Spot.
There's my file. I pull that up and say, oh, sweet, went out jeeping.
Same thing. Now I know that last week that Scott bought the Best of Van Halen album, but he didn't quite know how to rip it or had a problem, and so I'm gonna share my ripped copy of
Note
the
that
best.
I also have a legal purchased copy.
So I can drag those straight out of Banshee, let go of them. Again, he gets notified. He accepts that. Now, remember, again, so we're sending those files. Remember, there was no configuration in this. We simply launched Giver, found each other, and we can share files with each other. So you don't have to know anything about each other. The last example for the hardcore corporate people, here I am in Evolution. I got the Novell news briefs. Somehow Scott didn't get that. I can simply drag that to Scott as well, and the attachments will send over.
In this case, I don't care about the news brief, so I'm going to decline this.
And I get a little note that's saying that giving was declined. Scott doesn't love me.
And if you notice, there was no configuration whatsoever. This auto found all this stuff using Avahi. If you want to put in additional information, you can come in here to the preferences, and you can add your name, where you want to store things. So like if I didn't want all this crap on my desktop, I could select a different location, or I could select a different file. We're hooked up to Gravatar, or I can put it up in a web link or a picture file or anything like that.
That's Giver.
Bravo.
Nice.
Get a final shot of the silly men.